Your campus job might be costing you $344,000. My sophomore year, I worked 412 hours in the dining hall, swiping meal cards, scrubbing pans, wearing a hairnet with zero dignity left to protect. After taxes, I kept about $4,300. My roommate Danny worked maybe 10 hours a week, from our dorm room, usually in pajama pants, and cleared a little over $10,000 in the same 8 months. Same school, same class load, same broke starting point. The night I found out, I did something a little embarrassing. He was at practice, and I sat on his bed with my phone calculator like I was auditing him. His money divided by his hours, then mine divided by mine. Mine came out to $10.40 an hour. His came out to $31. And I just sat there staring at it, because I wasn't dumber than Danny. I definitely wasn't lazier. I'd worked 3 times his hours. I had just spent a whole year answering the wrong question. I kept asking, who will pay me for my time? Danny asked, who will pay me for a result? That one word is the entire $10,000. And honestly, the 10 grand isn't even the wild part. The wild part is what 10 grand turns into when you're 19 when you make it. There's a number near the end of this video that made me physically wince. Hold that thought. Here's what nobody tells you at the campus job fair. Every job on that folding table pays you for showing up. The dining hall didn't care if I washed 40 pans or 400. $12 an hour either way. My effort and my paycheck were legally separated. Danny's setup was different. Every December and May, when finals ended, students dumped their stuff like the building was on fire. He'd buy TI-84 calculators for $30 or $40 from seniors who never wanted to see a graph again. Then in August, freshmen showed up, with their parents' credit cards, and paid $90 to $95 for the exact same calculator, because the bookstore wanted $130 for a new one. 40 minutes of work per calculator, $55 of profit. Meanwhile, I was learning valuable skills of my own, like which industrial marinara smell permanently bonds to a hoodie. We were not the same. Now, the calculator thing by itself won't make you 10 grand, but it's the smallest possible version of the only idea in this video that matters. Results scale, hours don't. There are exactly 3 ways I've seen students actually hit 5 figures during a school year. Danny used all 3. The first one runs on a calendar that repeats every single semester at every school in America like clockwork. Every May, American campuses throw away millions of dollars. Mini fridges, futons, monitors, textbooks, desk lamps. Seniors would rather abandon a fridge than carry it down 3 flights of stairs. I've watched people leave $60 items next to a dumpster because their mom was double parked. Danny's May routine: grab fridges for free, or $15, wipe them down, stack them in a buddy's garage 15 minutes off campus. In August, a freshman's parents will happily pay $70 or $80 for a clean fridge delivered to the dorm, because the alternative is a Saturday at Target during move-in weekend, and no parent alive wants that. His 2 flip seasons that year, May and December, netted about $3,800. Not from being clever, from owning a calendar everyone else can see and nobody acts on. The rule I gave my own younger brother when he started school: never flip to people your own age. Students negotiate like their life depends on it because their budget is $4. Parents on move-in day negotiate like people who want the problem gone. Sell to the wallet, not the roommate. But flipping has a ceiling. It's seasonal, it needs a garage, and there are only so many fridges. The second lane is where Danny made most of his money, and it's the one almost every student gets backwards. Most students who try to freelance make one fatal mistake: they sell to other students. Tutoring classmates for $15, editing a friend's project for $20. You're fishing in the one pond on Earth with no fish. Danny cut basic video clips, nothing fancy, honestly worse than what half of you can already do, and sold them to local realtors. $125 per listing video. A realtor closing a $400,000 house does not blink at $125. He did 2 a week most weeks. That's $1,000 a month for roughly 8 hours of work. Tutoring works the same way if you aim it right. You don't tutor your classmates, you tutor high schoolers, and you charge their parents. Parents in the U.S. pay $35 to $50 an hour for a college student who can raise a kid's math grade, because the thing they're comparing you to is a $2,400 test prep company. And I'll just say it because someone needs to. For most students, the campus bookstore job is a trap. 15 hours a week at $12 so you can feel responsible, while the same 15 hours selling one real skill pays triple. Argue with me in the comments. I'll be there. Although, maybe I'm too harsh on that. If rent is due next Friday and guaranteed money is the difference between eating and not eating, take the guaranteed money. Optimal is a luxury. Guaranteed beats perfect when you're actually broke. I want to be honest about that. But the moment you have any breathing room at all, the math stops forgiving you for staying. And there's a third lane that isn't really making money at all. It's the one I completely ignored in school, and it's worth more than the other two combined. There's a line in The Psychology of Money I read at 22 and haven't been able to shake since. The idea that real wealth is the stuff you don't see. The car someone didn't buy. The upgrade that never happened. It quietly rewired how I look at every dollar. The campus version of that idea wears a lanyard. It's called being a resident advisor. An RA at most American schools gets free housing and usually a meal plan on top. Depending on your school, that's $8,000 to $14,000 a year of cost that simply vanishes. And here's the part that made me want to go back in time and slap myself. Money you don't spend is better than money you earn because taxes never touch it. To keep an extra $10,000 from a paycheck, you'd need to earn roughly $12,500 first. Yes, you deal with noise complaints and a freshman crying about their ex at 2 a.m., but you are going to hear that through the wall anyway. Now the wall pays you. Add it up. 2 flip seasons, around $3,800. 1 weekly skill sold to adults, $800 to $1,000 a month. Or the RA route, wiping out 5 figures of cost in 1 application. Danny stacked the first 2 and crossed $10,000 before finals. But when I finally sat down years later and ran what that number was actually worth, that's when this stopped being a story about my roommate and started being the reason I'm making this video. $10,000 invested in a boring index fund at 19, growing at the market's long-term average of about 8%, untouched until 65. $344,000. That's the number from the first 3 seconds of this video, not a typo. 1 school year of flipping fridges and editing realtor videos, and time does the other $334,000 of work for you. The same $10,000 earned at 35, it grows to about $101,000. Earned at 45, about $47,000. The money is identical, the years are not. This is why "I'll focus on money after graduation" is the most expensive sentence in a student's vocabulary. Every year you wait doesn't cost you a year. It costs you the last year of compounding, the biggest one on the whole curve. And look, the 10 grand matters. But the thing that actually changed Danny's life wasn't the balance. It was that at 19 he already knew, from experience, that money answers to results and not to hours. Most people learn that at 40, angry, in a job they hate. He learned it flipping calculators in pajama pants. I still think about sitting on Danny's bed with that calculator. $10.40 an hour versus 31. That gap was never about talent. It was one question, asked differently, and it was worth $344,000 of future money to whichever of us figured it out first. He did. You get to start tonight. So here's the deal. Drop a comment with the most predictable, dumbest flip on your campus, the thing everyone abandons in May that freshmen buy back in August. I read them, and I'll pin the best one. And if you want the follow-up, where that first $10,000 should actually go, in what order, that video's already on your screen. Danny's rich now, by the way. Still wears pajama pants.